Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Jill. Today I'm coming to you as part of a blog hop, and it is sponsored by a cherry on top, the scrapbooking and craft and art supply store. And every month the blog hop has a focus, and this is my first one, so it's really exciting to do. And I love the focus. Since it's July, it was watermelon colors, right? And it was so much fun to think about like the different kinds of greens and pinky reds, and I wanted to include black for the seeds. So so I put together a 12 by 12 page. I thought about doing it on camera, but I have such a really long, messy process that I thought instead I would just talk you through what I used and what my thought process was. Okay, so first of all, I started with a photo collage. These are pretty easy to make. You don't necessarily need Photoshop. You can just do it with a photo app. And I had recently been down in South Bend, Indiana, over the border from Michigan where I live, to spend the weekend with my boyfriend, Tim. And he and I were, we're now vaccinated, so we're able to go out and do things, and that's felt so fresh. And I wanted to just, capture that with a few little snapshots and some journaling about it. So so that was my starting point with the photo. So I printed the photo, and then I think the first thing that I want to talk about design-wise, besides the color, of course, is the 12 by 12 being divided. I got a lot of this from Shamel Lane's class on the 50-50 approach to designing a 12 by 12 page. And it's a really great starting point. Very simple, of course. Just take half of a 12 by 12 sheet, and then that's your base. And I guess I will say a little bit about the papers I used. I love this green heart paper. This is from Amy Tangerine. It's from this collection called Brave and Bold. I used more than the background, but that's the background paper. This one I've been really fond lately of, these Simple Stories lightly printed plain papers. This is white with just a little bit of a sense of notebook. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. That's what I used for the other side. And adhere that down. I used a couple strips of paper here. This is Color Study, the Vicki Boutin line. I really like the blacks in that line. And this is a black stripe. And because I traveled, and this is a place-focused page, I used just a little strip of some pink fresh paper with these cute little geotags. So they run vertically on my layout. So that was my starting point. I also knew that I wanted, because it's just a one photo layout, I wanted to give it some weight with layering. And paper layering is so simple and fun. I do it in a really casual way. I don't do any measuring. I just take the paper, hold it up, cut around it, cut a box slightly bigger. I think that the main principle to keep in mind is to offset the corners so that they're all at slightly different heights. That's pleasing to my eye anyway. I also use a distressing tool to just distress the edges a little bit. Let's see if there's anything else I want to say about that. Okay, so then the photo and the pattern paper is pretty much taken care of. I also, on this side, took a few little strips of the same paper to carry the design across the page. And I guess I'll say, too, that when you're thinking about layering, particularly if you want to do watermelon colors like us, these three collections worked really well. I used a little bit of the Vicki Boutin for the pinks, some of the Brave and Bold, the line by Amy Tangerine, and then a few sheets of Jen Hadley's Reaching Out. And I also used some of her sticker book and little accents on the page. I love this size. These pads I think are really versatile. And if you're a 12 by 12 scrapper, don't forget that you don't necessarily need 12 by 12 paper for a good bit of what you're going to do. Once you get beyond the background, of course, you're layering, and that can be smaller pieces of paper. Of course, you can also just have offcuts from what you do with your 12 by 12 paper. But these pads I think are they give you a good bit for your money. Okay, so that's the layering, that's the photo, that's the background. The other thing I wanted to call attention to, I actually have 2 sheets of this Vicki Boutin cut apart, so I can show you what I did here. As you probably noticed, I used the full tag, "This Day Was Fabulous," down here underneath the title. And then I also wanted to work in 3s and do some repetition, which is just a good go-to design principle. So I cut a couple more tags, this one, and then I just cut this part off. And you can see there's still a little bit of the ring visible, but otherwise it's just the tag with the green that I wanted. Didn't want the other colors. And then this tag, the story, I took the top part. And you can always, like when you cut them this way, you can always use the rest of it in another project, which I'll probably do. And as I said, I'm happy enough to have 2 sheets of this one. Okay, so then that gave me some areas for embellishing. I ended up not making it a cluster so much that went like this as one that went like this. So we'll see how I did that. But this then gave me a base for my title and a built-in "This Day Was Fabulous" subtitle. So the letter stickers from Vicki Boutin's line are super colorful and bold, but I really love them. They have, they have a kind of impact and artsy quality that I've been enjoying. I've used them on a couple pages now. So instead of, because they do take up space and weight, instead of South Bend, I just put SB, which I'm familiar with what that means. I will know when I look through my pages. That means South Bend Snapshots. And again, I broke up the snapshots to stack it a little bit so that it didn't feel too awkward on the page, but instead just kind of grounded the whole block with the photo. And then I kept my journaling really close in to the title with a little arrow from a puffy sticker sheet. And because I've got the black handwriting, that seemed to be a good way of tying in the black. I wanted that to move around the page. And I also then put a little handwriting. I put the date just by hand up here in the corner to pull that in. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about color and embellishing. I didn't mind if I brought a little bit of blue in. I felt like the predominant colors are these pink, red, greens, and blacks. I also really wanted to use the 2 greens, and greens can be hard to match, but I kind of like this very yellow green with this blue green background and some of the other elements. That's also why I put a little bit of that paper over here to draw the eye around, to keep that color moving. Okay, so that was my approach to color. One other thing, I did draw in just a little bit of stamping ink. I used these 2, Picked Raspberry and Lucky Clover, of the Distress Oxides. These are great for all sorts of techniques, and I considered doing kind of a smushy background inky technique, but since I didn't do that, I still wanted to bring in these colors, and I love little icon stamps, so I just grabbed a couple little icon stamps and used the green for the buildings to evoke the downtown in South Bend where we had our breakfast and did our window shopping and so forth. I used the same stamp with a lighter green up here, and let's see, where's the pink? Oh, then the geotag, a little geotag stamp to echo what I have in the center, and I used the Picked Raspberry ink to stamp that. And I think that kind of little bit of stamping, it's right here in this cluster, is a great way to unite the clusters. And when I create like clusters on a 12 by 12 page, embellishment clusters, they by no means have to be identical. I do like to repeat some of the elements, but I also like to kind of mix things up. For instance, this parakeet is the only one. It's not in 3 places, but it's just a kind of whimsical touch that I enjoyed adding. It's from the Vicki Boutin sticker sheet. It was right there, and I think I have 1 left. I've been using these birds, and this one has blue on it. But again, the color choice, of course, was the green. It's that nice lighter green that I've been using to evoke the watermelon colors. Okay, then to talk a little bit more about the embellishing, I used the Reaching Out. Jen had Hatfield from American Crafts. Her sticker book, which is just so great and full of so much. I've used these already on other projects. The rainbows and the peace signs really appeal to me. But the sentiment stickers are really good too, and they're also versatile. You can use them for card making, given the sentiments. And then I used one of the flower stickers. And so you'll see all of that if you notice here my embellishing. There's the flower sticker, which in a way kind of balances off the parakeet. And then this is a smaller area. So you just gave it a little weight with a Brad style sticker, which is a little heavier. And you'll see the rainbows and the peace signs. And the sunshine, that also came from that sticker book. So the sticker books, like the paper pads, they carry you through lots of projects and give you the chance to do, if you like this style of embellishing. And embellishing for me is like the most fun. And then, of course, I guess the final touch are the enamel dots. And in some cases, a little bit of puffy sticker. I didn't use too much from these Pink Fresh sheets on this page, but I used I think one from each. So that's one thing that, again, that's a little bit larger for an embellishment. And then for the confetti, little embellishments, just enamel dots and these kind of glittery enamel dots. From different collections. I'm sure you have your own collection of those. And I wanted to be sure to kind of carry the black around the page, so it's always nice to find a sheet with some black. So that I did put in each cluster. Each cluster has a little bit of the black enamel dot. And that's it for today, I think. I think that gives you an idea of what I did. The only thing I didn't mention is a little bit of washi tape from my stash. And, we all have tons of washi, too. I like to just kind of put it here and there in the areas of embellishment. So that's my page about bumming around South Bend. And yeah, I know it'll make me happy to look at this and think about these days post-vaccination when we got back out into the world. Thanks for joining me today, guys.